Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things.
I completely forgot that.
Courtney fucked that up. It's
Yep.
been a while. It's been a while,
Yep.
guys. It's been a while.
Okay, let's try that again.
Okay.
I'm keeping this in
Please do.
because it's funny.
And we'll go again. Round 2.
And 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things. There we go.
But you
Shake
talked too soon after we said it.
I got too excited.
Yeah, now we gotta do it again.
Keep it all in. Keep it all in.
I'm gonna keep it all
Keep it all in. You know why? Shake off those cobwebs.
Number 3 is the way to go, I guess.
I think so.
Okay, don't talk right after.
Okay.
Makes it hard to edit.
Fair.
Okay. Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things.
We did it!
Bow, bow.
All right, so we have some explaining to do.
And apologies to say.
Yeah, I feel like we did this already earlier in the year.
Yeah, and then we were like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Our lives aren't busy.
It will get normal again.
Yeah.
And then it didn't.
And we are extremely sorry about that.
We are.
We got very busy. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, you got busier than I did.
I got so fucking busy.
But like, there's no way to do it without you.
yeah,
So it's like, like literally. So I do not put that blame on you. It's just we just couldn't like.
it
It
was
didn't work out.
unavoidable.
It was to be like I'd be available a day and you're busy, or you're available a day and I was busy.
And you were busy. And it was also, there was some like emotional things going on
Ah.
for myself. And I know that you also had a
Oh.
week.
Oh, I had a mental breakdown.
You so did I.
Yeah. was
So
great.
we had some moments where we just needed to take a step away. Well, I mean, part of it was because I went to Transworld.
Yeah, so that was the first big thing, was you actually had to go out of town and do all these really amazing, cool things.
Which was great. Like, I'm not dissing that at all. 'Cause
No,
it was
but, like,
a wonderful opportunity.
But that was like right on par with where our this episode would have originally come out.
Yeah, because the way we had it scheduled was this episode should have come out while I was in Transworld.
Yeah.
Like, we could have done something remotely, but I
Yeah.
also had finals
Yeah,
going on at that time. I think you were gearing up for
it was a holiday, and as a baker,
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, as a baker, no holiday is without stress.
Yeah, without a lot of hours. So we just couldn't make it happen. And so
And then it was like, okay, we're like, well, we'll see as soon as you get back in town.
yeah,
We're
maybe
like,
we'll do a podcast.
but you didn't actually get back in town when you were supposed to.
no, I did not.
What happened, Courtney Ann?
So Transworld ended on the Sunday,
Mhm.
right? And we went, I'll just tell y'all the whole story
Just the whole thing,
because it was a trip.
literally.
Okay, so this was back when getting into Canada, you still needed a COVID test.
Yeah.
So after Transworld, like directly after they closed their doors
Mhm.
on the Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., we had to take an Uber and go to get a COVID test because no CVS had their pharmacy open. So the one that was like just around the corner not available.
Yeah.
So we had to go like across town
In St. Louis.
in St. Louis and get a COVID test, which they were not nice with it. It was like brain tickler times 1,000. I'm pretty sure she took brain matter from me.
So you essentially like had the first like steps of mummification happen.
Yes, because it hurt. I think I took a picture of myself after it because I was like,
You did. You
"Ugh."
sent it to me.
I was like, ugh. I looked awful because I just couldn't stop crying for like a good 20 minutes. And my coworker, she saw me do it and she was like, oh my God. And so then she had to get it done. She's like, oh no. Okay. Psych myself up. So we get our COVID tests and that was like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a key part in this. Okay.
Yes. Sunday.
So we wake up, we get ready to go to the airport. We check out at the hotel. I think we get to the airport around like 10 a.m., like 9:45.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're in line to get checked in because one of us couldn't check in online. I can't remember which one of it was.
Yeah.
But one of us, we couldn't check in online. So
Okay.
we had to like actually go to a teller.
Ooh.
And as we're in line, I hear someone say something about their flight to Dallas Fort Worth, which is where we were supposed to be going for a connecting flight. And they said that their flight got canceled and they got rebooked onto something else, onto like some other flight on a different day. And I was like,
Ooh.
that sounds weird. And so I checked my emails because I was like, uh-oh, this could be bad. Pardon me. And so as soon as I checked my emails, it was like I had four or five different emails just from American Airlines alone. And I was like, oh no. And one of them said, you've been rebooked. And I'm like, oh no.
Son of a bitch.
And so we checked it out and we talked to the like front desk person.
Yeah.
And they tried to get us onto a different flight out of wherever to Vancouver, but because it was spring break, all of their flights were full. So we were effectively stuck until Wednesday. So we get on the phone with our employer and we're like, okay, what can you do for us? And like, if we have to stay until Wednesday, we have to stay until Wednesday.
Yeah, there's nothing you can
That's
do.
fine. I have a final on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not like your future
It's not
will
like
be affected.
it's not like anything would be totally, ruined and cause me extreme stress. So that was like the first point of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I figure this out? And I wasn't going to send my professor anything until I know I truly could not be there.
Yeah.
Because even just like rebooking an exam was a process.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is like last resort thing. I will hold out until there is another solution.
Yeah.
Before I make this final decision of I'm not going to the final. So, and it was an in-person final. So I couldn't like just do it online on my laptop in the middle of an airport.
No.
I had to be like physically in class.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the downfall of like going back to in-person classes.
True.
So then we're on the phone to the employer. The employer is like, okay, we can get you out on a flight with United, but it's going to be a fucking crazy wild ride. And I was like, okay. So we had two options. I can't remember what the first option was, but the second option was we fly out later in the day.
Yep.
And we go from St. Louis to Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago to Seattle.
Okay.
Seattle to Vancouver.
Damn.
Okay. And we would arrive in Vancouver Tuesday morning. Like leave Seattle at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Sunday COVID test.
Yeah.
Right. We get on the flight because we've been cleared.
Yeah.
And because we had our test on the Sunday, we went to the front desk person at United and we're like, is this okay? Is this still going to get us back into Canada?
Yeah.
Because it was on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we would be getting back on Tuesday.
But technically the travel starts on the Monday.
On the Monday. So lady was like, yeah, no problem. You'll get in. No problem. No problem.
I feel like that's lies.
It was lies. It was full lies. So we leave St. Louis, get to Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago is massive. I don't know if any of you have been to O'Hare Airport.
I've not been to the airport, but I have been to Chicago.
Ooh, the airport is wild. I thought Dallas Fort Worth was big.
No.
I thought LAX was big.
Yeah.
No. It took us 20 minutes to walk from our gate to the other gate.
I do
And that was like a fraction of the size of this place.
understand that feeling of large airport walkings
Yeah.
when you are not in a great travel mood.
Yeah. And we still needed to pick up like dinner.
Yep.
Because we hadn't eaten since like that afternoon.
What, the peanuts haven't tied you over?
No. And we still had to like make sure we get to our gate. So we
Yeah.
walked, got to our gate, and then we managed to go and sort out some sort of food that wasn't like just vomit inducing, because airport food is awful.
Yes.
But the lady, because we went to Jamba Juice or Jugo Juice or some juice place, and they gave me a smoothie even though they had closed down their smoothie service for the day. I was like, that was really nice. That was a nice nice moment.
Yeah.
But at this point, we'd already been in an airport for like almost 9 hours.
Gross.
Yeah, really gross. So then we get on the flight to Chicago, or to Seattle. Chicago to Seattle, totally fine. Get into Seattle at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So even if we knew that we needed to get a COVID test for the flight the next day,
Yeah.
nothing was open.
No.
And our gate was actually a separate, it was a separate terminal. So
Oh,
we
for
actually had
fuck's
to
sakes.
get onto
Like a bus tarmac thing.
it was like one of their little underground like trams.
Oh, the shuttles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fine, but like you were essentially cut off from the main terminal.
Yeah.
And which is like whatever. It was this tiny little terminal. So get there. It's 11 o'clock at night. We're kind of just chilling out. We were like, well, I guess we're sleeping on the floor. So we slept on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Not well, but we slept on the floor. There was some crazy lady who started screaming in the middle of the night, which was super fun.
Oh, fun.
And then I wake up around like 5-ish. Nancy doesn't wake up until like 5:30-ish, but
Lucky.
you know, it is what it is. She went to go purchase something. I can't remember what it was, but she went to go buy something, and then the gate attendant flags me over because she saw us sleeping, and she's like, obviously these people have been here for a while.
Yeah.
So she flags me over because she wants to see our COVID tests.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, no problem.
Here you go.
And she sees it, and she's like, yeah, you're not getting on this flight.
And you're like,
And I go, pardon me?
the fuck?
Yeah. And so, man, she like, we cried.
Yeah.
We cried a little because it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Haven't really slept.
You're
We've been
exhausted.
so exhausted. Had been in
Yeah.
airports and on flights for almost
24 hours.
almost 24 hours
Yeah.
at this point. And yeah, like, okay, guess we're getting another COVID test. So at 6 a.m., I'm like texting my boss being
Yeah.
like, hey, we're stuck again. And they're like, no worries, we'll start working on it. We'll get it
Yeah.
sorted. And originally they were going to book us on the 10 a.m. flight.
Yeah.
And I looked at Nancy. Nancy looked at me, and I was like, you know what? I have a feeling let's go for the 2 o'clock one because I have a feeling it's not going to come back in time.
And you don't want to be stressing out trying to make that time.
Yeah, because like if we don't get a COVID test back before 10 a.m., because the earliest we could get a COVID test was like 9.
Yeah.
Or like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Right when they open. And so I'm like, well, it says it takes them an hour, but what if it doesn't?
Oh.
What if it doesn't take them an hour to get it
Yeah.
back to us? So we opted for the 2 p.m. flight or 2:45 or whatever the crap it was. And then did that, went and got our COVID test, which we didn't know where it was. And we asked someone, we're like, oh, well, we need to take a taxi. And they're like, yeah, it's probably a smart idea. It was literally a 5-minute walk.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So when we got in the taxi, the guy was like, oh, whatever. Okay. Like, it's just like right over there. We're like, we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So like, can you just take us? And then because no one wanted to give us like actual directions or like actual information.
What?
It was like a $2 cab. I don't care. So then we ended up walking back after we got our COVID test, but it was fine. We couldn't check back in to the terminal because we didn't have our COVID test because it won't let you go through unless you've done your pre-check.
Yeah.
And so you can't actually check in for your flight without the COVID test. So we were kind of just like in this like airport limbo where we weren't through security, but we had to be like in the airport.
Yeah.
So we were just by the baggage claim, and which United fucked up our luggage. Like Nancy's luggage got all her wheels broken off of it.
Oh my God.
And mine looked like they had like scuffed it and looked like they had gone through it.
Oh my God.
So it was like this point of contention, and the like front desk lady said that it would be here, it would be there, it would be this, it would be that. And so we got like kind of like bounced around like ping pong balls.
Yeah.
And once we finally got our stuff, the lady from the front, like from the ticketing agency, or not the ticketing, from the gate. So same lady from the gate who turned us away.
Yeah.
She opens the door really violently, says, "Shh, I'm being trained right now." Like basically shushed us, and then like threw the bags out the door. And I was like, I cannot. Fuck you, man.
United.
United.
As like
Fuck United, man.
as a Canadian who like never flies United and has only heard horror stories,
Yeah.
fuck United.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. And like, I'm not a fan of like either, like of either of those airlines, of American or United.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm gonna choose, it's probably gonna be American Airlines.
Yeah.
Or Alaska Airlines.
Ooh, I've never had I've flown Alaska.
Yeah, same.
Never really had an issue with them.
No.
Knock on wood.
But the most that I've flown, and I know you probably are the same, is like WestJet and Air Canada.
Yeah.
Especially going into the States. And the
Oh
places
yeah,
that
yeah.
we go.
The only one that I've ever spent like a real significant amount of time on was Air China, or is when Jeremy and I went to Bali for a month.
Right.
So, and like that's because like WestJet's not gonna fly all the way to Bali.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I've never flown like United or American Airlines because I've heard nothing but horrendous things on the internet about them.
I've flown both a handful of times.
Yeah.
And like United, this is like pretty typical.
United is like you're united to not take it again.
So bad. I'm sorry if anybody works for United.
I'm not sorry. I'm not
Do
sorry.
better.
Yeah, let's like you aren't the bosses, so we're not blaming you, but like
Do better.
I'm sure you understand.
It was a time. So like we're waiting in this limbo of like figuring it out. And yeah, of course we didn't get our COVID tests back until like 10:30.
Yeah. So no, it's good that you waited for that
it's
2 o'clock flight.
It's good. And I had friends like asking if they could come and pick us up because it's like it's not that far.
No, it's like a 3-hour drive from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you still need a COVID test.
Especially if you're going in and out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
So it was like one of those things. It's like, yeah, sure you could, but you still have to go and get that COVID test.
It would literally be the exact same thing.
Yeah, I'd still be waiting.
Yeah.
Until 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where we were just literally had to sit and wait because I could have rented a car. We could have done anything, but then it was just like.
But at this point,
we're there.
Yeah. It's like you see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just make it.
And I was too exhausted to drive. I know Nancy was just like, yeah, I'm not driving.
Yeah.
So we were just like, okay, we'll wait for the flight, whatever. So we get our COVID test. We get on the flight. It was like a glorious friggin' moment to walk the gangway onto the flight. And it was a 40 fucking minute flight. That was the kicker, is that it was a 40-minute flight.
Just to get home.
And I had to cancel I couldn't attend my final, so I had to email my professor anyways because by the time I was going to get home, which was going to be like 6, my exam was at 6.
Yeah, fuck no.
So, and by the time I got home, I was so exhausted.
You had slept through your exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awful. And so because I missed my exam, I had to rebook it, pay an extra $50 just so I could take it.
Oh my God.
And I failed it.
Oh.
And I failed it. I passed the class because I did really, really well on all my other stuff.
Wait, you were telling me about this.
But I failed the exam because it was so...
Isn't this like the professor didn't like give you the information as to what was going to be on the exam?
No, he didn't prepare us at all for it. And I felt really cheesed about it because it was like... It was 7 questions.
Yeah.
And each question, like the whole exam, I think was 30% of my grade.
Fuck.
So each question was weighted so heavily that it's like it didn't leave a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
And even if you guessed on something,
it's like
the probability was not there.
No.
And it was just one of those things that was just like such a bummer. But I passed the class, so that's all that matters. I was really worried that I'd flunked the class and I'd have to take it all over again, and I was about to be real mad.
But you passed the class.
But I passed the class, so I don't even have to worry about it anymore.
So it's now in the rear view mirror.
It's now in the rear view mirror.
Fucking A.
And now I've started a new term. Only 2 classes this term, so it'll be fine.
But, 2 classes mixed with the gigantic, amazing job you have.
Yeah.
That is really going to start kicking off and
going
into gear.
Yeah.
And then, trying to have like a
normal life outside of it.
A life.
Yeah, so
what is a life?
After I got back, I literally slept for like 10,
you slept for like
10 hours.
Yeah, well, not just that, you just slept for the rest of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's because it wasn't just like the travel, it's like you spent a good amount of time at Transworld with like not just work, but like I'm sure you were just like your little kid lights were just going off inside of you.
It was insane. But not only was I like doing work while at Transworld, I was also doing homework while at Transworld. So
exactly. So you're double duty.
I would go to Transworld.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so we got there. I would basically like wake up, do some homework, go into the actual trade show floor, do the seminars, do the trade show floor, go to dinner, debrief with my coworker, and then, you know, maybe go out for a couple of drinks and then do it all over the next day. So like by the time I got back, I was so toast. It took me like a good 2 weeks to actually get back.
To like, track. Fully. Yeah. No, I know. Cause I'd be like, hey, you want to meet up? And you're like,
no.
You're like, I'm going to stay in bed. And I was like, you know what? With respect, yes, you are. Yeah. And just to support you, I was like, I'll stay in bed too.
Yeah, thanks.
And I did.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. So thank you.
Yeah. It was a good weird time.
Yeah. I will say though, at least you got your bags back within a reasonable amount of time.
Right. Because you had that awful experience during Christmas where you just didn't get your bags back for a while.
Fuck, man.
Wasn't it like 2 weeks?
It was like, no. It was longer than that.
It was longer.
Okay. Quick version. I went to Alberta, one province over, which for our American friends, one state over, which if I drove would be like 13 to 16 hours. I mean, there's mountains and shit and there's snow, so there's no way I'm doing that in the middle of winter.
No, that's awful.
But like it's about a hour and a half flight from Vancouver to Calgary.
Yeah.
And then about an hour and 15 minutes from Calgary to Fort McMurray. Fuck, man. On the way there, my flight got pushed back from Vancouver 3 times.
Oh, Jesus.
We sat on the tarmac for forever. The weather was just horrendous, but it was all coming from Calgary. So Vancouver was nice. Vancouver is shit. Or Calgary is shit.
Right.
So everything was pushed back. I get to Calgary. I was supposed to get to Calgary at like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, my God.
And then I was supposed to board a flight to Fort McMurray for at like 11:30. So I was gonna have enough time with landing in Calgary.
Of course.
That flight also got pushed back to like 12. I landed at like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and my flight had taken off at 12. So I'm there and I get my suitcase, and there's literally just my flight is in this airport where we had to leave, go claim our bags. And I had to go to the ticket booth to like be like, okay, yeah, it's fine. I stood in line for an hour to get my flight rescheduled. And while I'm standing in line, and there's still about 10 people in front of me, one of the attendants comes and is like, by the way, we have no more hotel passes. So if you want to stay in a hotel and if you have a flight you need to connect, no more hotel passes. I was like, the fuck?
Cool.
I was like, cool. I'm poor. I do not have money to spend one night in a hotel. Yeah. So I went and I talked to the front person and I was like crying, but like not real crying. I was just like, please ignore my anxiety tears. I'm very tired. And she was like, it's fine. Yeah. She's like, here, let me give you some food vouchers. That didn't work at anything. She was like, it'll work at 7-Eleven. You can go get yourself a little snack. And I was like, oh, no. I went to the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah.
And I walk in there and I was like, do you have a room available? They're like, yeah, it's $300 for a single night, which by the way, I was going to sleep for 3 hours in to get onto my connecting flight the next day. And I just cried. And I get to
an hour.
I get $100 an hour to take a sleep where I slept for like an hour and a half because I got into the room at like 2, 3 in the morning and I called my dad and I'm like, it's horrible. I'm never doing this again. And he's just the best sport in the world where he's like, and he's just like,
yeah,
full
totally
on
sucks.
The man's watching TV and like got a beer in his hand. He's just like nodding just to like get me through the night. So
that totally sucks, Brienne.
Yeah, I love you. That's great. You'll be fine when you get here. Like, that's not the point, Dad. And so I get on my flight. I get to Fort McMurray. Totally fine. Spend the next 4 days there. It was awesome.
Yeah. You come back.
Now the flight back. I was like, nothing could be worse than the flight there. I was already, like expected and was like, everything's gonna be pushed back. I'm prepared for this. I got drunk in the airport in Fort McMurray because they pushed back my flight by 2.5 hours. Jeez. So I just got really drunk.
Yeah.
And then we get to Calgary and thank God that flight was pushed back again by a couple hours. So I was able to make that flight where I flew into Mission.
Oh, jeez.
in the not Mission, Abbotsford. My bad. Abbotsford.
Which is still
not great. It's not Vancouver Airport.
But at least it was closer to home, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. 3 a.m. I'm like, hey, waiting for an hour for my bags.
Oh,
and no one came out to say, hey, Calgary flight's done. There's no more bags, so please come over here. Yeah. I go and I finally find someone who's like, oh, yeah, that flight was done with their luggage half hour ago. And we're like, cool, thanks for letting the 6 of us passengers know.
Yeah.
I find a woman. They're like, you just have to go talk to this woman who takes my information down on old boarding passes.
Oh, shit.
Like, they're not even empty. They're like legit old boarding passes, and she's got a pen and she's like writing the information sideways but like my name is with like 3 other people's names. And I was like, so when do I get my bag back? She was like, well, when we contact Calgary will contact you. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, I know this is not your fault and I'm really tired, but this is fucking ridiculous. And I walked away. I was so mad. I didn't hear about my bag for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Because I put in a claim. They put in a claim for me, but didn't give me any information about the claim.
Right.
And then
because she took all your information.
Because she took my information on so I didn't get an email or anything about that. So I went to go try and make a claim for my bag, and they said I couldn't because the claim was already made. But I needed to get a passcode to get into it to be able to check and track my bag. But I could only get a passcode at the time that you claim your bag. Yeah. So I was like, cool. So finally, a week and a half later, I get an email that says, your bag has been found. I was like, holy motherfucker, Jones. This is amazing. So I was like, cool. They were like, it's going to be coming. A week later, I'm like, the fuck is my bag?
Where is it?
Right? And I'm not getting any response. I go to check my claims, and they were like, your claim has been claimed. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, your bag. It's like, the internet is now telling me my bag has been claimed. And I'm like,
was it at the airport the whole time?
It was at Calgary for like a day. And then it made it to Abbotsford.
Oh my!
And then it took 2.5 weeks. Finally, and then I tried calling them for about a week, and every time I just got sent to like voicemail all the time. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I tried for a week to contact the airport because I'm like, "They're gonna get rid of my bag." Mm-hmm. Finally, I don't know who this woman is, but you are wonderful, because she was like, "Oh, you're looking for your suitcase? It says it was picked up a week and a half ago." I was like, "It sure as hell was not picked up." So she's like, well, what does it look like? I was like, it's a black suitcase. The only identifying thing is there's going to be like a monkey head on a baggage tag. Yeah. And she was like, oh my God, that monkey's so cute. I know which bag that is. It's right in the back here. And I was like,
oh my God.
And I was like, she was like, yeah, we were all talking about how cute this little bag tag is. And I was like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, thank you. Thank you. I think it was my mom, thank you for that bag tag because people love it and it identified. Yeah. And so she put it into an Uber and it got sent out to me and I got it back. Nothing was broken. I got like dishes from my grandma passed down to me. I got celebratory champagne in there because my parents got that for me because I just gotten engaged.
Right.
And it was like nothing was ruined. Everything was there. The most important thing was my Oodie was in there. Yeah. It was a cold ass winter, man. I needed that Oodie.
Yeah, you needed that.
And I just, as soon as I got it, I put it on. It was fantastic.
Man, like, okay. I know that COVID created
a lot of issues.
Especially with travel. And I know that
companies are doing what they can with what they were given. It's not like we had a pre-global pandemic of this size for people to be like, well, now we know what, the scenario. Yeah.
And, like, it's hard when you have a lot of people calling in sick and you can't, like, like, oh, well, you're working now because, like, it's just not a thing anymore. People don't work when they're sick anymore because it's stupid. It was stupid to begin with, and it's even more stupid now. But, like, when you have that many people or that many blind spots in your customer service, it's hard, man. It's hard to, like, be satisfied with any service.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I 100% agree. Like, it really did. Like, COVID really threw a wrench in the plans. But here's the thing. Here's my issue, an argument against it, because I'm still so angry about it.
No, you're valid. You're valid.
Is it wasn't the first year of COVID. It was just 2021. So they already had, like, not ample amount of time, but a decent amount of time to come up with a situation. And travel was already going.
Right.
It was Christmas. Yeah. And even in a good, normal year, Christmas is fucking nuts.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
And for me, and it's like, and I know it wasn't just the one. I was on WestJet for this, so it wasn't just the one airline because I had family friends who were on Air Canada, and theirs was screwed up too. The issue was their stuff got situated quickly because they had the staff. Quickie, nice. Nice.
Freudian slip.
And WestJet, though, apparently laid off like 30% more than the other airlines like 2 months before Christmas.
Right. So
bad business decisions.
Yeah, super bad business decisions, but shit, what can you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so this has quickly turned into Brienne and Courtney's flight problem.
Yeah. But though, and I'm sure this will be edited down, it does, like, though, tack on to, you know, I had that stress, and then we had to go into, like, recording right away in January, and then all of a sudden you had that stress, plus on top of it your schedule got built up more, and then I'm also getting into a busier season with my schedule, so I'll be working more.
So both of us, the basis of all of this is that our lives have been a little bit busier than we anticipated to do a full-time podcast,
and we took on a little bit more than we could chew.
A little bit more. And I myself, and along with other people in my life, they have told me, and I've come to the realization through them, that I need to not do everything all the time.
Huh.
Yeah. It's taken me 35 years. Okay.
The better part of 35 years.
Yeah. More realistically, probably like 20-ish years.
Yeah, let's be real.
Because when I was a kid, I did whatever
that doesn't
I wanted.
count. Yep. We didn't have responsibilities as children.
No, but I have always been kind of like a workaholic, and I put my everything into all the things that I do.
Yes,
because like even when I was in a band, I did everything all the time, and I worked 2 jobs. Yes. And when I was in film, I did everything all the time.
Yes.
To the point of actual burnout.
To the point of, like,
mental breakdown.
I saw you when you would come home and go to sleep.
Yep.
And then I was like, hey, I miss her, but I'm not going to poke the bear.
And I know that you can also put yourself into that state. You're way better at it than me.
With what?
With being like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking that on.
Oh, I've had to really. That's because I used to do exactly where I said yes to everything.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt utterly guilty.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I changed or what changed me. Maybe one of my many mental breakdowns over the years.
I'm going to guess the bakery helped you with that.
think the bakery helped me because it was I got into a position where they encouraged me not to say yes all the time, which made me want to say yes all the time because I was like, oh my God, they're so amazing. I want to give them everything.
You want to do it all.
But I really realized my health and like, because they created such a safe and like good open atmosphere, you could actually like sit down and be like, what is best for me first before everything else? Yeah, so I've gotten much better at being like, no.
Yeah. So I am slowly relearning that because the last 2 years of my life I've had to say yes to everything.
Exactly.
Work-wise,
everything,
social-wise, whatever. Like it just felt like I needed to do that. And so I'm now relearning that I can say no. So with that came a lot of not great decisions to be like, you know what? No, let's not record tonight. I need to take some time to do some stuff. I need to sort out some personal stuff. I need to do this. And I know the same thing goes with you. Like you had a couple of times where we had to be like, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
We're going to take time away from this because we have to.
Yeah.
And we know we've gotten texts about being back on the podcast.
And we're so sorry. Because it's not something that we wanted to let go.
Yeah. And we're not going to stop.
No,
but
no.
We may not be as consistent, so please don't hold us again.
Yeah. So it may not be like every 2 weeks, maybe every three and a half.
Yeah.
We'll see. We still want to bring you content, but we want it to be good content and not stuff we're going to rush just to like have it out on time and schedule.
Yeah.
We want to make it fun.
Yeah.
Because we're fun people, Kay. Because we're fun.
And we want to make it worth your time.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to us for an allotted amount of time. You're taking time out of your day to listen to us.
Mostly meander.
Yeah, mostly meander, which is what this whole entire episode is. But whatever.
I think a meandering episode is required. Like, bring people back in.
Yeah.
And because people are going to be like, what the fuck happened?
Where have you been?
Did you die? A little bit on the inside.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know that in the next few months or so,
We're gonna have some good shit.
we're gonna have some good stuff, and I'm just excited. And I know this year is going to be very busy for myself, and and I know it's going to be for Brienne as well. Especially if I convince her to do something, it's fine.
I'm telling you, if you get that really cool thing from Transworld, I might do it.
Yeah, okay. So vague. But yeah, like I am excited for this year. I'm particularly excited for this spooky season.
I'm very excited for the spooky season.
Yeah.
I'm like
a
little girl watching a movie for the first time.
It's so good. So like this, I gotta get this out.
Do it.
Okay. So wait, my brain went fucking blank for a second. It was it was in my brain, and then it just went whoop. Oh, this is it. Okay, so
music helps every time.
So my boss today. So speaking of like taking time for yourself, my boss today legitimately like chastised me for not taking more time off. And like, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But one of my goals and objectives for this year is to foster a better work-life balance. And he friggin' called me on it today. Because like I said, I'm a workaholic.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to haunted attraction stuff and haunt things. Like, I'm like, I want to put myself into it. And I get it. But he looked at my vacation schedule. And he saw that I only had like 3 days in June and like a bunch of days in November. And he said that wasn't good enough. He said that I'm not allowed to work all event days.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry. I just did one of those like double takes, mouth open, like confused looks, because that was
it's never been
not the normal as to what it was before.
Yeah, and for anybody who's like worked with me knows that that's not
corny.
That's not a typical thing.
No.
But he was like, nope, you're not going to work all event days. You're not going to work all of these things. We basically have like a bunch of things all back to back in terms of this job. So he was like, nope, you need to make sure that you are actually sticking to your word of your goals. And your goal is to balance your work versus your life. So go take time off. Go enjoy the summer. Like, don't make your summer this place.
Oh my God, we can do a beach day.
Yeah. So tomorrow, one of my things that I'm going to do, like one of the first things that I'm going to do is schedule in my time off.
I know this great person in September 4th who is celebrating a birthday at that time, and I think that you should book time off to see that person.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I feel like that person loves you.
Yeah.
And just wants to steal you for that time.
Okay.
Fuck my fiance. I just want to hang out with you.
It's the truth. So with that being said, I think we can come up with a semi-regular podcasting, because I'll feel a little bit better. And here's a first.
Oh.
Because I have a work phone now.
Oh, shit.
I have my personal, I have my work phone. Been legitimately putting my work phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. Never text me from your work phone.
Okay.
Because I hate getting tutored. Jeremy had a work number too. And I was like, which one do I have to text?
Well, that's why I use Messenger
Instagram.
And
yeah. Who actually texts anymore? I text my dad.
Yeah. That's about it.
I texted him earlier today.
I text your dad. I haven't texted him since my birthday.
Well, you should text him, because I'm sure he will tell me all about how you don't text him when I see him. Courtney is my adopted sister. P.S. everyone.
Yeah.
My dad just was like, she's some cool shit. And it was just like, I'm keeping her.
Yeah.
And dad decided that you were adopted.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm cool with it.
Me too. Well, I want to say thank you guys for tuning back in for our meandering / scary podcast.
And thanks for your patience. Holy.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you're still with us, thank you so much. If you're new, welcome to the shit show. And if you're not here, you're not listening, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
JK, because if you come and listen to us like 3 weeks later, I'm so sorry. We still care.
We still care. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning back in. We appreciate y'all. Please be patient with us over the next like 6 months. It's going to be touch and go.
We're going to be here, but we'll not be here all the time.
And you know what? We'll at least try and post stuff to our Instagram. How about that?
Yes.
We'll try and keep you guys informed and updated instead of just going completely dark.
Yeah.
Like we have in the last 2 months.
Because we're adults and we can do this.
We can communicate effectively.
And currently my mental health is up.
We're up, baby.
We're up, baby.
So until the next one, thank you again for listening. And you've been listening to
Just Haunted House Things. Bow, bow.